Pivot tables make it easy to emphasize aspects of your data, whether that's monthly performance or sales to a customer. The problem with pivot tables is that it can be hard to remember how to reconstruct a position during a presentation. Having detailed notes helps, but you still have to take the time to manipulate your worksheet. In this movie, I will show you how to create a simple Excel presentation kit that uses macros to recall positions. I've decided to run my macros by clicking shapes that I have positioned in row 1, but you can just as easily add macro buttons to the quick access toolbar. I've already recorded and assigned macros for the year, month, and quarter company shapes. So now what I want to do is record a macro for the company by month and year shape and then assign it. To record that macro, I'll go to the View tab, and then at the right end, click the Macros buttons down arrow, and then click Record Macro. Then in the Record Macro dialog box, I can type in a macro name, and in this case, I'll make it exactly the same as what appears in the shape. So CUMP_MNTH_year, YEAR. Now I can click OK and start recording. My first step will be to clear everything from the body of the pivot table. So I'll click Options, and the Options contextual tab appears because a cell within the pivot table is currently selected. Then click Clear and Clear All. Now with the pivot table back to 0, I can create the position I want. And in this case, that will be company, then month below that in the row labels area, then year in the column labels area, and revenue in the values area. That's the position I want, so I can stop recording, and to do that, click the View tab, click the Macros buttons down arrow, then click Stop Recording. Now I can attach the macro to the shape, so I'll right-click the shape I want, click Assign Macro, and then click the macro name that I want to apply, and that's the top one, Company by month and year. And when I click OK, the shape is assigned to the macro. Now when I'm giving my presentation and I want to recall a particular pivot table position, I can just click the shape that it applies to. So for example, if I want to display the year by month position, I can just click that shape, and it appears, quarter company, there it is, and company by month and year. And also, there's nothing about this position that's magical. In other words, I can manipulate the pivot table and then click any of the macros, and because I have Excel clear the pivot table first, then it will recreate the position exactly. So let's say that I create a filter on the month column that displays only months that contain the letters JU. So I'll type in JU, and I see June and July, those are the only 2 months, and I'll click OK. Now, if I were to click the year-month shape to run that macro, Excel clears the pivot table and then recreates the position that I wanted. Recording your pivot table positions as macros makes it much easier for you to display the data you want. Rather than worry about how to recreate a position, you can focus on your message.